The smell of wine and grilled salmon hit me the moment I stepped into the restaurant. My heels clicked against the marble floor as I looked around for him. "Good evening, ma'am," the hostess smiled. "Do you have a reservation?" "Yes, under Ethan Rowe." Her eyes flickered to the screen, then to the large round table by the window. "Ah, yes. The family table. Right this way, family." The word stung, but I smiled politely and followed. As we approached, laughter rose from the table, Ethan's laughter. Familiar, easy, confident, but when I saw who was sitting beside him, my breath froze. Marissa. She was leaning close, whispering something in his ear. His arm rested on the back of her chair. Mr. and Mrs. Rowe sat across from them, beaming like proud parents. The hostess cleared her throat. "Your guest has arrived, sir." Ethan turned, surprise flickering across his face. Quick, almost rehearsed. "Lena, you made it." "Of course I did," I said, forcing a smile. "You said it was important." He stood, awkwardly straightening his tie. "Yeah, it is. Sit down." There was only one empty seat left, the one farthest from him. Not beside him, not even across. The spot felt wrong, detached, like an afterthought. I sat anyway. Mrs. Rowe gave me a polite smile. "We were just discussing the new partnership. Marissa's firm really pulled through for Ethan." "Oh," I said. "Marissa's firm?" Marissa's hand brushed Ethan's arm casually. "It's been a busy few months. Long nights, you know how business can get." I nodded slowly. "Yes, I remember," Ethan coughed. "Can we get some wine here?" A waitress approached, young, nervous. Her name tag read Rachel. She poured the wine carefully, glancing between us like she could feel the tension. I said quietly, "I'll take mine straight." "No ice," Marissa smiled too sweetly. "Same for me, of course." Always the same, Ethan raised his glass. "To family." "To new beginnings," I stared at him. "New beginnings?" He hesitated. I thought it was time to celebrate. Some changes." "What kind of changes?" My voice stayed calm. Too calm. Marissa shifted, eyes glinting. "Maybe Ethan should tell her." Mrs. Rowe sighed as if this were all tiresome. "It's better she hears it directly." Ethan rubbed the back of his neck. "Lena, I didn't want it to happen this way. But things have changed between us." "Changed?" I repeated. "When?" "Since a while ago. Marissa and we've gotten close. Closer than we expected." The words didn't hit like thunder. They landed softly, almost gently, the kind of pain that slides under your skin. "I see," I said. "So this dinner was supposed to be honest," he said quickly. "We didn't want to lie anymore." Marissa added, "We didn't plan it. It just happened. You've been so busy with work, and Ethan—" I held up a hand. "Don't." Silence spread like frost. Rachel pretended to check her notepad, then walked away quietly. I looked at Ethan. "How long?" He swallowed. "A few months," I nodded. "Since your business trip to Singapore, right?" "You said the Wi-Fi was bad." He looked down. "Lena..." Mrs. Rowe broke in. "Let's not make a scene." "This is already difficult." I smiled faintly. "I'm not making a scene, Mrs. Rowe. I'm just listening." Marissa leaned forward. "We didn't mean to hurt you." "Then why are you sitting at my seat?" Her mouth opened, then closed again. I turned to Ethan. "You said tonight was special. You even told my mom you had a surprise." He avoided my gaze. "It was going to be the engagement dinner. But I realized it wouldn't be fair." "Fair," I echoed softly. "Right," I took a sip of my wine. It tasted bitter. Or maybe I did. Rachel returned with the bill folder, unsure who to give it to. Ethan gestured toward me. "She'll handle it." I stared at him. "I'll handle it?" He shrugged. "You always do." Something inside me shifted. Cold, steady, final. I took the bill, slid my card in, and smiled at Rachel. "Thank you," Marissa murmured. "Lena, you don't have to." "I insist." The silence that followed was almost peaceful. When Rachel brought the receipt back, I signed it carefully, tore off the customer copy, and folded it into my purse. Ethan frowned. "You don't have to keep that." "I like records," I said. "They remind me of what things really cost." He blinked. "Lena," I stood up. "No hard feelings, Ethan. I hope the new partnership works out." Mrs. Rowe looked relieved. "That's very mature of you," Marissa said softly. "We still want you in our lives." "You're like family," I smiled, small, sharp. You already reserved the best table for family. And before anyone could respond, I turned and walked away. Outside, the night air was cool and steady. My reflection in the restaurant glass looked calm. Too calm. Inside, laughter started again. Their laughter. I reached into my purse and touched the folded receipt. Paper thin, yet heavy with proof. Congratulations, I whispered to myself. Then I walked to the curb, raised my hand for a cab, and didn't look back. I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw their faces. Ethan's calm lie, Marissa's smile, Mrs. Rowe's relief. It replayed like a scene that refused to end. By morning, my phone buzzed with messages. Ethan's name lit up first. Ethan, can we talk? Me, about what? Ethan, last night. I didn't mean for it to go like that. Me, you meant every word. He didn't reply. I stared at the screen until it dimmed. Then another name appeared. Marissa. Marissa. Lena, please don't hate me. Me, you slept with my fiancé. Marissa. I didn't plan to. It just happened. You were always so busy. Me, so you did it out of boredom? Typing bubbles appeared, then disappeared, then nothing. I turned off my phone. My mother's knock came minutes later. Lena, sweetheart? I opened the door. Her eyes softened instantly. You look pale. I'm fine. You're not. She stepped in, carrying coffee. I saw Ethan's post. Are you two... Over. She set the cup down carefully. Do you want to talk? No, she hesitated. Then let me just sit. We sat in silence for a while. The clock ticked like a metronome for heartbreak. Finally, she said, You gave him everything. I know. He doesn't deserve your tears. I'm not crying. She studied me. That's worse. I looked down. He said it was honesty. That dinner. Said it was time to stop lying, Clara sighed. That's what guilty people call confession, not honesty. I keep wondering when it started. When she stopped being my friend and started being his secret. You'll drive yourself mad looking for the moment. I already am. She reached for my hand. Write it down. Every memory, every promise. Empty it out before it poisons you. That night, I did exactly that. I opened a notebook and wrote the first line. Dinner, reservation under Ethan Rowe. Then the next. Family table. No seat for me. The pages filled quickly. Messages, receipts, dates, notes. The ink turned into evidence. By the third page, I wasn't crying. I was cataloging. The phone buzzed again. Ethan, can we meet? Just to explain? Me. You explained everything at dinner. Ethan, I didn't mean to humiliate you. Me. You didn't. You just showed me who you are. A pause. Then another message. Ethan. I hope one day you forgive me. Me. I hope one day you understand what you lost. I put the phone face down. When Mom came back in, I was still writing. Keeping a diary? She asked. Records, I said. You told me once, always keep receipts. She smiled faintly. I meant for groceries, not heartbreak. They both expire eventually. Her smile faded. Don't turn bitter, Lena. I'm not bitter, I said. I'm awake, she sighed. Just promise me one thing. Don't let revenge eat you. I'm not thinking about revenge, she raised a brow. Then what are you thinking? About justice. Her silence told me she understood, and feared it. The next few days blurred together. I went through my laptop, deleted old photos, then stopped deleting. Instead, I moved them into a folder titled Evidence. Every smiling face looked like a confession. Messages, emails, transactions. He'd used my account for bookings, even business expenses. I'd trusted him with everything. When Grace from work called, I almost didn't answer. Hey, you okay? She asked. Define okay. I saw the posts. I didn't want to believe it. It's true. Marissa too. Yes, a sharp inhale. Lena, I know. Are you coming back to work? Eventually, she paused. Don't let them win. I won't. When I hung up, I stared at the notebook again. The last line I'd written read, They lied. I listened. I tore that page out. Wrote instead, They lied. I remember. That felt better. The next morning, Mom found me at the kitchen table sorting envelopes. What's all this? Copies of statements. Expenses Ethan claimed as business dinners. You're not planning to... I'm planning to understand exactly how much my love cost me. She looked at me for a long moment. That's not love anymore. No, I said quietly. It's math. She reached over and brushed a strand of hair from my face. I wish I could take the hurt for you. I don't want the hurt gone. I want it remembered. It keeps me from making the same mistake, Mom whispered. You sound like someone building armor. Maybe I am. When she left, I closed the last envelope, sealed it neatly, and stacked it on top of the notebook. Ashes of us. That's what it was. Burnt pieces that still glowed faintly, refusing to die. I looked at the clock. Midnight again. I whispered to the empty room. You wanted honesty, Ethan. You'll get it. Written, signed, and dated. And then I turned off the light. Mom waited by the car, keys in hand. You're going, she said. I don't need therapy. You don't need denial either. I sighed. How long? An hour. You can hate me after. Already do, I muttered, but I got in anyway. The clinic smelled like lemon disinfectant and paper. The sign on the wall read, Dr. Kellen Pierce, Trauma Recovery. I wondered what kind of trauma he'd expect today. He stood when I walked in. Mid-30s, clean-cut, calm eyes. Lena Carver? Yes. Come in. Sit wherever you're comfortable. Nowhere's comfortable, I said, but I sat anyway. He smiled slightly. Honesty is a good start. I folded my arms. Let's just get this over with. All right, he said. Tell me what brought you here. My mother. I meant what happened. Dinner, I said flatly, with my ex-fiancé and my ex-best friend. They were celebrating honesty. He didn't flinch. And how did you respond? I paid the bill. A pause, then a faint nod. That says a lot. About what? Control. You didn't shout, didn't cry, didn't storm out. You took the bill. You finished the scene your way. I looked at the floor. So you think I'm controlling? I think you're trying not to drown. I almost laughed. You're poetic for a therapist? It's part of the job. Tell me what you did after that night. Didn't sleep. Found proof. Wrote it all down. Proof of what? The affair. The lies. The money he borrowed and called love. He leaned forward. Why proof? Because he'll spin the story. They always do. And your notes stop him? They stopped me from forgetting. He was quiet for a moment. You keep receipts. Yes. That's your way of staying in control. I looked up sharply. You say that like it's wrong? I didn't say wrong. I said necessary. I crossed my legs. You're not judging me. I'm listening. Then listen to this. He cheated, lied, humiliated me publicly, and somehow I still feel guilty. Why guilty? Because I didn't see it coming. He nodded slowly. You trusted. That's not guilt. That's proof you were human. I stared at the clock. I don't feel human. I feel like paperwork. He smiled faintly. Paperwork can rebuild a case. I frowned. That's a strange thing to say. It means you're not ruined. You're documenting, reconstructing, turning chaos into evidence. I almost laughed. You make revenge sound therapeutic. It can be, if it leads to closure instead of obsession. I don't want closure yet. What do you want? I want to remember everything they tried to erase. He leaned back. Then start there. Remember, but don't rot in it. I let out a breath I didn't realize I'd been holding. You sound like you've done this before. I've seen people burned by betrayal. Some rebuild, some just keep sifting through the ashes. And me? You're still holding a match. That made me smile, small and bitter. Maybe I'm just making sure I never walk into the same fire again. He nodded. Fair enough, but fire spreads fast if you don't control it. Noted. He looked at his notepad, then back at me. One last thing. What's the hardest part right now? The silence, I said. No shouting, no closure. Just quiet. And what do you do in the quiet? I list things. Like what? Promises, lies, the cost of both. He nodded again. That's where healing starts, with the truth written down. Feels more like inventory. Call it whatever helps you breathe. The session ended with no grand advice, no soft music, no tears, just me standing by the door. He said, "You did well today." I replied, "You didn't say much." I didn't need to. You already know what hurts. Outside, Mom waited with worried eyes. "How was it?" "Efficient," I said. She frowned. "Efficient?" "Yeah," he listened. I counted the lies. "Did it help?" I thought about it. "Not yet, but maybe it will." Mom started the car. "You sound calmer." "I'm not calm," I said quietly. "I'm calculating." She didn't ask what that meant. Neither did I. The office smelled like burnt coffee and toner. Same cubicles, same noise, but everything looked sharper now, like someone had stripped off the filters. Grace spotted me first. "You came back," she said softly. "Someone has to make sure this place doesn't collapse." She smiled. "We missed your sarcasm." "Not sure sarcasm fixes betrayal," I said, dropping my bag beside the desk. She hesitated. "You saw it." I saw everything. Her expression tightened. "The engagement post?" I nodded. Front page of every feed. Perfect smiles, matching rings, his mother commenting hearts. Classic PR. Grace lowered her voice. "You okay?" "I'm functional. That's not what I asked." "I don't have another word for it," she sighed. "People talk, about what happened." "Let them. Truth doesn't need a spokesperson." My computer blinked awake. Notifications exploded across the screen. Emails, deadlines, company updates. I scrolled mechanically until one headline froze me. Rotech faces internal audit after anonymous report. Grace leaned closer. "You heard about that?" I just did. "Rumor says their finance team found missing funds. Someone tipped off the auditors." I kept my voice steady. Karma works fast. "Do you think it's true?" "I hope it's painful." She gave me a look. "That's dark." "So is betrayal." For a moment, neither of us spoke. The hum of the printer filled the silence. Grace finally said, "You helped him start that company, didn't you?" I did. "Does he still owe you anything legally?" "No, just emotionally." "And that's worse," she murmured. I opened a spreadsheet just to keep my hands busy. Numbers didn't lie. People did. Grace sat on the edge of my desk. "What are you going to do now?" "Work." "Lena, come on. I'm serious. Work keeps my mind from setting fires." "Setting fires?" "Metaphorically. Mostly." She laughed nervously. "I forgot how blunt you are. I forgot how tiring pretending was." Her gaze softened. "You don't have to pretend here." "I don't plan to." The day crawled by in polite whispers. Every time someone said Ethan's name, my pulse ticked once, sharp and cold, then evened out again. At lunch, Grace joined me in the break room. She pushed a coffee across the table. "You haven't eaten." "I'm not hungry." "You said that yesterday." "I also said I'm fine." She studied me. "Fine people don't clench their hands until their knuckles turn white." I loosened my grip on the mug. "Habit." "From holding receipts?" She teased gently. I almost smiled. "Something like that." Grace sipped her coffee. People always wear masks here. Smile in the hallway, gossip in the elevators. You're not the only one hiding bruises." "I'm not hiding mine," I said. "I'm documenting them." "Still, you're stronger than you think." "I don't feel strong." "You don't have to. You just have to keep standing." I looked at her. "You sound like my therapist." "I'll take that as a compliment." "Don't. He's expensive." She laughed quietly. "If you ever need to talk, I'll send you a receipt." That made her smile again. Deal. When I returned to my desk, I caught a glimpse of Ethan's face on a business article. His smile was the same, practiced, confident, hollow. The headline mentioned accounting inconsistencies, and unexpected scrutiny. My chest tightened, not with pity, but with clarity. Grace leaned over the partition. "You're staring at him." "I'm studying the mask." "The what?" "The mask he wears, the one I helped polish." She frowned. "You still love him?" "No," I said. "I just want to understand the anatomy of a liar." "Careful," she said. "Understanding them too well can make you one." "Maybe," I said, "or it makes you immune." The printer beeped. I stood, collected a stack of reports, and caught my reflection in the glass door. I didn't look broken, just focused. Grace called after me. "Lunch tomorrow?" "Maybe," I said, "if I'm not busy watching karma do its thing." She smiled. "You're terrifying when you say that." "Good. It means I'm healing." Back at my desk, I typed an email draft. Nothing dangerous, just observation notes. A file name blinked in my folder, Row Financial Links. I hadn't opened it in months. I hovered over it, then closed the laptop instead. Not yet. Grace passed by and whispered, "You okay?" I nodded. "Just remembering what masks cost." She gave a small nod and walked away. I sat still for a long time, staring at my reflection in the black screen. My face was calm, my pulse steady. For the first time, I realized I didn't need to scream to be dangerous. Some storms start quietly, and I was learning how to make mine sound like silence. Grace slid a business card across my desk. "You should meet him," she said. "Who?" "Noah Trent, corporate lawyer. He's handling the audit at Rotech." I frowned. "Why would I meet him?" "He asked about you." "About me?" She nodded. "Said your name came up in a few old filings." I stared at the card. White, simple, clean. No unnecessary decoration. Lawyers don't ask about people unless there's a reason. "Then find out the reason," she said. 2 days later, I did. Noah's office was quiet. Bookshelves, one plant, no clutter. He looked up as I walked in. "Lena Carver?" "Yes, thanks for coming." "Sit, please. I wasn't sure why you wanted to see me." He smiled faintly. "You worked with Ethan Rowe, correct?" "Worked with is generous. I'll take that as a yes. What's this about?" He folded his hands. "I'm reviewing some financial discrepancies. Your name appears on several expense records connected to Rotech's startup phase." I tilted my head. "Expense records?" "Yes. Transactions labeled under your account, but tied to company funds. It looks like someone's using your old credentials." I let out a soft laugh. "That someone would be Ethan. You're certain?" "I set up those accounts." "He had access." Noah nodded slowly. "Then you might have proof." "Proof?" I smiled. "I kept everything." He blinked. "Everything?" "Receipts, statements, invoices, even the drafts." I thought it was paranoia. "Turns out it's insurance." He leaned forward. "Can I see them?" "Not yet." "You tell me why you need them first." "Because the audit's expanding," he said. "If what you're saying is true, Ethan may have committed fraud and tried to shift the blame." Of course he did. He's always been good at shifting. "Would you be willing to provide documentation?" "Maybe. What happens if I do?" He hesitated. "It depends what those receipts show." "They show the truth." He studied me. "You sound certain." "I learned that truth doesn't need emotion. It needs evidence," he nodded. "That's rare. Is that a compliment or a warning?" "Both," I smiled faintly. "Then we understand each other." He opened a file. "Walk me through it." "For 3 years, I handled the administrative side," I began. "Set up vendor payments, managed client billing." Ethan told investors he did it all himself. Noah wrote something down. "You have timestamps?" "Yes." "Emails?" "All archived." He looked impressed. "You realize this could destroy him." "Or clear me," I said. "Depends which headline comes first." "You're not afraid?" "I was," I said. "Fear's expensive." "I can't afford it anymore," he smiled. "You're very direct. Trauma saves time." He leaned back. "I'll need copies of the receipts, especially anything tied to offshore transfers." "Transfers to Hallow & Co.?" I asked. His pen froze. "You know about that?" "I executed 2 payments myself." He said it was for consulting. "It wasn't. What was it?" "A holding account." He stared at me. "You're good at this." I had to be. Loving him required spreadsheets. He exhaled softly. You realize you're giving me more than evidence. You're giving motive. Good. Motives make headlines stick. He chuckled quietly. You sound like a prosecutor. I sound like someone tired of being the case file. For a while, we both sat in silence. Then I said, if I give you everything, you'll use it? Yes, anonymously if you want. I want it visible. Let him know the paper trail leads home. That's bold. That's deserved. He tapped his pen thoughtfully. Most people want to forget betrayal. I'm not most people. He looked at me for a long time. I believe you, I stood. When do you need the documents? As soon as possible. I'll bring them tomorrow. He offered his hand. Thank you, Ms. Carver. I shook it. Don't thank me yet. The truth isn't polite. As I left, his voice followed. You don't strike me as vengeful. I'm not, I said. I'm thorough. Outside, the air felt sharp. I walked to my car, opened my bag, and touched the folder labeled Row Records. Every page felt heavier than the last. For the first time in months, I felt something close to power. Not happiness, and that was gone, but power. The quiet kind that hums under your skin and waits for the right moment to speak, I whispered. Receipts don't lie. But a voice inside me added, people do, and that's when I realized what terrified me most. I was starting to sound like him. Noah called me early. It's done, he said. What's done? The report went public. Rotech's under investigation. I leaned back against the counter. How bad? Bad enough to ruin him. Good, he paused. You sound calm. I've had practice. You don't want to see the article? I already know the story. I wrote the first draft. He chuckled quietly. You're something else. Is that a compliment? More like a warning, I smiled faintly. Then I'm listening, he sighed. Just be ready. People will come asking questions. Let them. I have answers. Later that afternoon, my phone exploded with notifications. Articles, shares, comments. Rotech CEO accused of fraud. Insider leaks reveal misused funds. Anonymous whistleblower exposes cover-up. Grace leaned over my desk. You've seen it? Hard to miss. Think he knows it's you? He'll guess. Are you scared? No, I said. I'm busy. The truth was I wasn't scared, just hollow. Victory felt quieter than I'd imagined. By evening, I received a message from an unknown number. Marissa, please. Can we talk? I stared at the screen. Then another message appeared. Marissa, he used me too. Of course he did. I typed back. Where? She sent an address, a small cafe we used to visit after work, back when she called me her sister. When I walked in, she was already there. Expensive coat, oversized sunglasses, hands shaking slightly around a coffee cup. Lena, she said when she saw me. Marissa. You came. You asked. She tried to smile. You look different. I should. I didn't know what he was doing, she began. The accounts, the money. He said you were the one who... I know what he said. I swear I didn't believe him at first, but then you liked the lie better. Her voice trembled. I loved him. I did too. That didn't save me. He ruined both of us. Maybe, but only one of us helped. She flinched. You think I planned this? I think you played along until it suited you. That's not fair. Neither was the dinner. She went quiet, eyes glossy. He's lost everything. The company, his reputation. He's hiding from reporters. Then he finally knows how it feels. Lena, I didn't come here to fight. I came to explain. Explain what? That I didn't know the ring was yours. I froze. What? She lifted her hand. My old engagement ring glinted under the light. The same ring Ethan had given me, promising forever. I stared at it. He gave you that? Her voice dropped. He said it was his grandmother's. It was mine. She looked horrified. Lena, I swear, I didn't... Don't bother. I kept my voice low. You can keep it. What? It suits you, she blinked. Lena, it's fake gold. Her face crumpled. You're lying. No, I said softly. He did. About everything, including that ring. Her hands trembled as she slipped it off, placing it on the table. I can't wear this. You already did. Do you hate me? She whispered. I don't have the energy. Tears welled up in her eyes. He used me too. He said you were cold, obsessed with details. He said you made him feel trapped. I was counting the lies he told, I said. He mistook that for control. She looked down. What now? Now? I stood. He'll face the truth. You'll face yourself. And I'll go home. Lena, please. I'm done talking about men who think loyalty is currency. I turned to leave. Her voice cracked. Do you ever regret it? Exposing him? Every day I didn't was worse. Outside, the sky was gray and still. I exhaled slowly, letting the chill bite my lungs. My phone buzzed again. Noah, you all right? He asked. Yes. She reached out, didn't she? She did. And? She wore my ring. He was silent for a moment. You told her? I told her it was fake. Was it? I smiled faintly. Only in meaning, he laughed softly. You're colder than I expected. No, I said. Just done pretending. I ended the call and looked back through the cafe window. Marissa was still sitting there, staring at the ring like it might explain her sins. I didn't feel sorry. Not anymore. For the first time in months, I walked away without shaking. The fall of pretenders had begun, and I wasn't one of them anymore. The morning news played on low volume. I didn't need to watch, but I did. Damon Rowe releases public statement. The anchor's voice was calm. Rotech's founder distances himself from his son, citing irreparable ethical differences. I stared at the TV until the coffee in my cup went cold. Mom walked in, drying her hands. So it finally happened. Yeah, she frowned. Do you feel better? Not really. Then what do you feel? Nothing, she sat across from me. That's not nothing. That's peace trying to find a place. Peace doesn't feel this empty. Maybe it starts that way. I turned off the TV. The silence felt heavier than the news. Later that afternoon, an envelope slid through my mail slot. No sender's name, but I knew the handwriting. I opened it slowly. Lena, I know you hate me. Maybe you should. I didn't mean for things to end this way. I loved you. I just didn't know how to be what you needed. Please understand. Ethan and I laughed once. The sound startled me. Mom peeked in. What's funny? An apology that asks for understanding. She sighed. He's desperate. He's delusional. Will you reply? No. Why not? Because silence is heavier than any word I could send. She nodded. Then let it speak for you. I folded the letter back into the envelope, slid it into a drawer, and locked it. It didn't deserve fire. It deserved dust. By evening, I sat again in Dr. Pierce's office. He smiled when I walked in. Back already? Last session, I said. I think I'm done talking. Then let's just sit. We sat in quiet for a while. The clock ticked softly. He finally asked, You read his letter? Yes. Did you answer? No. Why? I didn't feel like explaining his crimes to him. That's fair. He said he loved me. That's the part that almost made me laugh. Why laugh? Because people like him confuse ownership with affection. He nodded. And what do you call what you feel now? I don't know. Relief, maybe. Relief from him or from yourself? Both. Good, he said. That means you're healing. I crossed my legs. It doesn't feel like healing. It feels like quiet. Quiet can be loud, he said. Sometimes louder than revenge. I thought revenge was supposed to fix things. It never does, he replied softly. Justice doesn't always look like victory. Sometimes it's peace. I stared at the floor. Peace feels too calm for what I went through. That's the point. Chaos feels familiar. Peace feels foreign, I smiled faintly. You sound like a fortune cookie, he chuckled. I've been called worse. I looked at the window. He's ruined now. His father disowned him. The company's collapsing, and yet I don't feel triumphant. You wanted truth, not triumph. I wanted both. Most people do. I leaned back. Marissa tried to apologize too. How did that go? She cried. I didn't. That surprises you? A little. Why? I thought I'd enjoy her regret. Turns out it was just sad, he nodded slowly. Because you're done carrying them. I think so, he smiled. Then this might be the last time you need to see me. Will you miss me? I asked. Only the honest ones, he said. I wasn't always honest. You were always trying to be. I exhaled. What happens now? You live. Sounds boring. Then find something worth living for that isn't revenge. I stood. That might take a while. He handed me a card. If silence gets too loud, call. I won't. I know. When I left his office, the sky was pale gray. My reflection in the glass door looked almost normal. Mom was waiting in the car. Done? Yeah, how was it? Quieter than usual. That's good. Maybe. She glanced at me. What did he say this time? That justice doesn't always look like victory. And what does it look like? Peace, I said. Whatever that means. Mom smiled softly. You'll find out. We drove home in silence. No music, no talking. Just the hum of the road beneath us. For once, the silence didn't hurt. It didn't accuse. It didn't scream. It simply existed. Calm, solid, real. And maybe that was the point all along. A year passes faster than healing. When I walked back into that restaurant, it felt smaller. The lights were warmer, the laughter softer, or maybe I was just quieter. Good evening, the hostess said. Do you have a reservation? Yes, I replied. Under Carver, she smiled. Table for one? Yes. She led me past the family table. It was full again. New faces, loud laughter, glasses clinking. I glanced once, then looked away. It didn't sting this time. The hostess stopped at a corner near the window. Will this do? It's perfect. She handed me a menu. Rachel will be your server tonight, I smiled. Good. Rachel appeared moments later, holding a notepad. Oh my God. I remember you. I hoped you would. She looked unsure. You were here? That night? Yes. Different table. She hesitated. How are you? Better. That's good. She smiled, tentative but genuine. What can I get you? Your best wine. And something sweet. I think I've earned it, she nodded. I'll take care of you. As she walked away, I stared out the window. The reflection staring back didn't look broken anymore, just calm. My phone buzzed. A message from Grace. Dinner alone again? Me. Celebration. Grace. For what? Me. Peace. She replied with a heart emoji. Simple. Perfect. Noah texted next. Noah. Audit officially closed. He's gone for good. Me. I know. Noah. You never? Asked how he's doing? Me. Because it doesn't matter. Noah. That's growth. Me. That's distance. I set the phone down as Rachel returned with the wine. She poured it gently. You seem lighter. I let go of a lot of weight. She smiled. Good for you. I took a sip. Funny thing about pain. Once you stop feeding it, it starves. Rachel tilted her head. That's deep. It's practical. Still deep. We both laughed softly. I said, You remember the man from that night? Her face fell slightly. I do. He's not doing well. I heard things. Fraud, lawsuits. All true. Do you feel bad? She asked quietly. No, she exhaled. I wouldn't either. The dessert arrived. Chocolate, elegant, calm. I took my time eating, listening to the quiet rhythm of forks and conversation around me. For once, the silence didn't ache. It filled the space like something earned. Rachel came back with the bill. Take your time. I looked at the total, then added a generous tip. You were kind when I didn't deserve kindness, I said. She blinked. You did deserve it. Maybe. But I didn't believe it then. She smiled. You seem different now. I am. As she walked away, I reached into my bag and pulled out a small envelope. Cream paper, neat handwriting. On the front, foreclosure. Inside were photocopies, the receipts, the invoices, the proof that had ended Ethan's empire. Every piece of evidence that once burned my hands now felt light as air. I placed the envelope beneath the empty wine glass and stood. Rachel returned just as I was putting on my coat. Leaving already? Yes. Big plans tonight? Just breathing, she laughed softly. You should come back more often. Maybe next year. I started walking toward the exit. She called after me, You forgot your envelope. I didn't, I said. It's for the house, she frowned. The house? The restaurant, I clarified. Let it stay here. It belongs to this place, she smiled, though she didn't fully understand. Good night, Ms. Carver. Good night, Rachel. Outside, the air was cool again, like the night of that first dinner. Only this time I wasn't shaking. I stood by the window for a moment, watching the glow of the family table. Different faces, Same laughter. But I wasn't part of it anymore, and I didn't want to be. My phone buzzed one last time. Noah. You did good. Lena. Me. I just stopped doing bad. Noah. Same thing. I slipped the phone into my pocket and smiled. Peace didn't arrive like a storm or a scream. It came like an exhale. Quiet, final. I walked down the street without looking back. Behind me, the restaurant lights blurred into gold. Ahead of me, nothing waited. And that was the best part. The apartment was silent except for the ticking clock and the scratch of my pen. I'd been sitting at the same table for an hour, the journal open, half a page left blank. Mom knocked lightly. You still writing? Yes. She stepped inside, holding tea. You've been quiet all evening. I like it that way, she smiled softly. You used to hate silence. I used to fill it with people who didn't deserve it. She set the cup beside me. Are you almost done? I think so. What are you writing? Closure. She tilted her head. Can I see? Not yet. She touched my shoulder. You know, I'm proud of you. For what? For surviving. I smiled faintly. That's all I ever did. That's everything, she said, and left the room. I stared at the page again. The words came slowly this time. They reserved the best table for family. I reserved the receipts and the exit. I stopped writing, reading it once, then again. It sounded final. My phone buzzed with a message from Grace. Grace, dinner tomorrow? Me. Maybe. I'm finishing something tonight. Grace. Another list? Me. A goodbye. She replied with a heart. That was all. Another buzz. Noah this time. Noah. Just wanted to check in. How's life on the other side? Me. Peaceful. Noah. Strange feeling, isn't it? Me. Quiet feels earned now. Noah. You deserve it. Me. So do you. He sent a smile emoji. I didn't reply. Some goodbyes don't need punctuation. I looked around my apartment. The walls were bare, boxes half packed. I decided to move, not to escape, but to breathe somewhere new. Mom peeked in again. Leaving those notebooks behind? No. They're coming with me. Even the ones that hurt to read? Especially those. They remind me what not to settle for. She nodded. Then you've really healed. Not healed, I said quietly. Just aware. She smiled. That's enough. After she left, I closed the journal and ran my fingers across the cover. It felt heavier than paper, lighter than memory. I whispered to the empty room, "It's over." The words didn't tremble. They landed clean. I slipped the journal into a box labeled Keep, sealed it with tape, and stood. The city lights outside blinked faintly through the window. Ordinary, distant, alive. My reflection looked back, the same face but steadier eyes. I whispered, I survived, and for once it didn't sound like defense. It sounded like truth. The clock ticked again, steady, familiar, forgiving. I turned off the light, leaving only the soft glow of the city behind me. Tomorrow I'd wake up somewhere new. No ghosts, no receipts, no lies, just peace, and what's left behind.